Hey, everybody, welcome to the Angel Tarot Show, airing exclusively and a podcast at mindbodyspirit.fm. But you can watch this on YouTube if you'd like to see a couple of people decked out in hot pink. Now, I said, couple of people, who am I talking to? Well, I have got angel expert Joni Light with me. Hi, Joni.
Hi there. How are you? Hi,
I am
everybody.
awesome. I'm so happy to have you with me. And the reason that Joni is here is because Joni's best angelic BFF is Jophiel. And that is
Yes.
the topic for today is Archangel Jophiel. And we're going to be talking about the joy of Jophiel and how she can be this incredibly big boost to people. But before we go there, and I would just want to say, if you are new to this podcast, I want to remind you that this is the second in a series of, hold your breath, 15 episodes on the archangels. So if you are new to angels or new to me, you might want to go back to episode number 20, which is the one right before this, where I give you a summary and go through the 15 primary archangels and kind of like give you a feel. But so that you won't be as we say in the South, a lost ball in high weeds, I will tell you this. Archangels are these big archangels that care about the world. Guardian angels care about you specifically, but the archangels care about you too, but they've got the whole world in their hands. They've got the whole world in their hands. Okay, enough of that. And they typically, well, not typically, they technically do not have genders. And we just associate genders with them because of what they are about. So Archangel Michael, for example, is this archangel, and he's about safety and protection. He's got a sword and shield and armor, and that feels really masculine to us. Jophiel, who we're going to talk to today, is all about beauty and happiness and lifted spirits. And she comes in rose petals. Well, that feels very feminine to us. So we associate them with a particular gender, even though they don't necessarily actually have one. They show up in different forms of physicality because they don't have a physicality. But different people see different angels different ways. A lot of people see him with long blonde hair, and he's buff and handsome and hot. And he's very Christopher Hemsworth. He's Thor, you know? But other people see Michael with dark skin, or even see Michael in a feminine version of Michael. It doesn't matter. Your way of seeing Michael or seeing Jophiel or any archangel is your way, and your ways is the perfect way. So just keep that in mind. But in the meantime, let's talk about Jophiel. Jophiel, her name means the beauty of God. And she tends to come in like this fuchsia hot pink. And she is the archangel that helps us to beautify our thoughts, to help us to lift above. I always sort of like say when I'm doing little prayers to Jophiel, I say, lift up mine eyes. Because for me, it's like it's how we see the world that dictates how the world is. And I very often say that in a loving way, that Jophiel is literally the archangel version of rose-colored glasses. And I mean that in an absolute positive way, because she helps us to see the world in this beautiful way, but also because she's said to come in roses. People who are familiar with Jophiel or work with Jophiel say that they smell the scent of roses, or they might be aware that there's a rose petal or something on the ground. And when I pray to Jophiel, I always say, line my path with rose petals, because it's meant to be uplifting. So what else do you think that people might need to know about Jophiel up front?
Well, Jophiel is also known to help with art, to help artists produce beautiful art. Also to lift us up out of emotions where we're not feeling so good about ourselves, to raise our self-esteem,
Yes.
Beautify our self-talk. I know we're all our own worst critic usually. And so when I find myself in that place, I ask Archangel Jophiel to beautify my thoughts, beautify the words that I have for myself. Recently, we just, passed the tax time to send in your taxes. And I always get a little flustered with that, and my thoughts aren't the greatest. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to have Archangel Jophiel beautify my taxes. And as soon as that, and as soon as that happened, I was just like, oh wow, I'm going to get money back this year. And so it just like shifted my whole attitude about it. I'm like, yeah, let's get those numbers down as quick as we can.
Really?
So, like,
Where's the mailman?
Situation. You would understand as because of your back, in the accounting side of your life, right? Because like, tax season can be very stressful. And so it's like, as an empath, I feel a lot of that waves of energy from the kind of the collective conscious. And so I just ask Archangel Jophiel to keep me in this kind of beautiful cloud of hot pink fuchsia light. And when I used to see her as a specific shape, like an angelic shape, but now she comes to me just as a pure light, like, just glowing light that illuminates my room. And the cool thing about it, at first I saw her clairvoyantly. Now I actually see it with my physical eyes when I'm really working with that energy. And it's just the coolest thing, because my room and my office lights up with this beautiful pink glowing light. I'm like, wow, where is that coming from?
Okay,
But she also beams like this light on your path to help you see beauty too.
So let's just talk about that for a second. So for those of you who are new to all of this, it's like what Joni is talking about is that is clairvoyance is a version of divine psychic gifts that where we see. Now, for most people, and I think prior for Joni, and was that it's a thing where we see it in the mind's eye. It's not a physical representation that the physical eyes are recognizing and seeing. It's something that we see in the mind's eye. There are people, however, who over time literally see. Joni and I have a friend named Val who literally sees, which personally I consider terrifying. I'm like, if she sees dead people, and I'm like, I don't want to. But it doesn't scare her, and I don't mean to say it's something to be scared of, but it's like it's a rare thing. But over time, now you're seeing at least Jophiel. So how is that experience emotionally different?
It's emotionally different because it brings me great joy. It puts me in a place of happiness. It makes me feel like I'm loved and beloved, that I have angelic guidance, that I am a divine child of the universe, and that this archangel is willing to come and help me uplift my life, to be able to have joyful experiences, notice beauty. It's not just beauty on the outside, it's beauty on the inside too, feeling that you have a certain inner glow. And when you go out, it's reflected in, you see beautiful flowers, you see beauty in everything in your outside world too. And it's just a very comforting feeling to just feel like you're kind of swimming in this joyful, happy energy.
So I tend to get, what's the word I want? I like to explore theories. Show. So now you're making me wonder things. So you're seeing Jophiel with physical eyes, which is super awesome. So do you think that's her? Do you think that's you? Do you think that's the change is what's the word I want? Familiarity? Because you've worked at it so hard? Is it, I'm going to use human terms, is it a reward for all your hard work? Is she putting forth more energy to making her physicality? Because there is a discussion point
right,
that there is an energy outlay. I think we mostly talk about it with people who are deceased. It's how much energy do they have to outlay, whether or not you physically see them or don't. Um, and I don't know if that makes sense with archangels because they're omnipresent and they have connection to the divine. So maybe the energy is not an issue. I mean, I know I'm throwing you this as a curveball, but it's like, what do you think made for people who are because we know this, Joni, we know this. There are people who are desperate to see.
Right.
We as human beings have a very visual culture. We
Right.
want to see stuff. And so is it just the practice? Is it a change in the relationship? What do you think it is?
I think it's practice. It's that old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. So if you're in that energy, if you're connecting with that energy on a daily basis, it's like learning a skill, like learning to play the piano. You get better and better at it till you're a virtuoso. I'm not saying I'm a virtuoso in seeing Archangel Jophiel. I just think that I've connected with her so much that maybe I've raised my vibration enough so that I can see her. And I think it all might be a state of mind too, a belief system. I believe in miracles. I believe that I can see her. I believe that she's going to elevate my life and help bring joy and happiness to it. So I think you have to have that belief system and intention. Intention is really important. I mean, my intention is to connect with her on whatever level she is willing. I say she, you know, Jophiel is willing to connect with me. And so apparently I maybe have opened my unconscious or conscious enough so that I can actually see that energy. It's just like, you know, the human eye can see certain ranges of light, and then there's invisible light that we don't see that maybe dogs see or animals see. And I'm just saying I've raised my angelic vision so that I've raised my vibration enough to be able to see that happening. And it take a lot. I mean, I've been doing this for many, many years, and this is just didn't happen overnight, you know.
When did it happen?
I think it happened probably for me about almost like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I was really not even aware of archangels. I was aware of guardian angels. My mother always told me I had guardian angels. But then when I actually intensified my study of angels and started going to workshops and seminars where the instructor talked about that, then I was introduced to the idea of archangels. And then I really had a really interesting experience back in October when I went to your certified angelic advisor class in Tampa. We did the exercise where we channeled archangels. Well, as you went through the list, we got to some, and it was, for me, it was just crickets, nothing, like not even a sentence. Some of them were one or two sentences, some were a paragraph. But when we got to Archangel Jophiel, I wrote 5 pages in my journal and where I was taking notes. And then you were already going on to the next archangel, and in my head, I was like, no, I'm not through, I'm still writing. You know? But that just shows that when you feel a connection, you know, this color has always been one of my favorite colors. Maybe she's always had a connection with me and that I didn't know it. And then as I gained more knowledge, I didn't know what I didn't know, you know? And then as I gained more knowledge of Archangel Jophiel, she became more present for me, more visible for me. And so I can't wait, you know, it just keeps going. It's exponential, the connection.
You know, and I think, and again, this is just me trying to put pieces together over all these years, is that, you know, my dear friend Dougal Fraser would say that we are drawn to a color, and we're drawn to a color for a reason. And so I think that it's, you know, that colors are vibrations, we know that. Angels are vibrations, we know that. And so this whole like element of, okay, you're drawn to pink and you're drawn to the qualities of pink, and Jophiel resonates to pink. And so it's all this whole thing that like starts to make sense, that we're drawn to this whole concept of that's my vibe.
Right.
That's my vibe.
And one of my good friends, Amanda Brown from Alabama,
Amanda.
she gave me an interesting little visualization of taking a beautiful fluffy blanket and then, if you're having a down day and it's a day that you maybe want to just lay in bed for a while and rest and have some self-care, pull that fluffy Archangel Jophiel blanket over you and just be enveloped in that joyful, happy, peaceful energy, because it's not just joy and happiness, it's peace, because I think you have to have that peace of mind to get to that place of joy and happiness. And she encompasses all of that.
Do you have a favorite story about Jophi?
Do I have one?
Yeah.
Well, let's see, using her for the taxes, but another one that I like is taking her shopping.
Wow.
Tauruses are the original material girls.
Happy birthday, by the way.
So I surprisingly, I don't like to spend a lot of time shopping. I like to walk in, target it, I know what I want, get it. And the way that I do that, I send Archangel Jophiel ahead of me and say, hey, can you make sure that my vision that I catch, like when I walk into a store, I kind of scan, like the department that you walk into, and then I just kind of target it in on a color or an outfit or something and just make a beeline to it, get in there, try it on, love it, and it makes it so much easier, because I know there's people that go and shop for hours and hours and hours, and then just, I do a lot of online shopping now. So I just asked Archangel Jophiel to go ahead of me, do the pre-shopping. She's my personal shopper.
Oh, cool. Good to have. Good to have.
And it's she's great for people who don't like to spend a lot of time in department store shopping or whatever, or looking for something specifically online, because I just tune into that, and it you don't have to spend so much time, looking. It's there, it's ready for you. She says, here it is, I've picked out your wardrobe for you.
I think another thing that's really important about, well, there's a couple of things. Another thing one of the things I think is really important about Jophiel is self-care.
Yes,
I feel like, she's also she's almost like the spa archangel. She's like,
yes, absolutely.
Right? It's like we think of, when I think of a spa, I almost sometimes think of like water and the rose petals floating on the water or whatever. But this whole element of lifting up our thoughts and the lifting up our self-esteem and the lifting up the way that we see ourselves, for us to take care of ourselves.
Right.
Enough for us to do what is necessary to love ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think some people were like, oh, well, that's just selfish of me to do those kind of things. And Jophiel says, no, you are beautiful. We want you to go and do the things that make you feel better. If you need a massage, if that's going to uplift you, do the massage. If you need a mani-pedi, get that. It's like it's like, or have a spa day. And that's a wonderful example that I think Archangel Jophiel will kind of give you a little boost. And if you need some kind of personal permission to do that, she's like, okay, you have my permission, go do it. And
Absolutely.
I think that's really important. And if you, like I said, if you need a down day, if it's a day of just pure rest for you, if you create your little zone at home, I call mine the peace zone. When I'm in my peace zone, don't come for any chaos for me. Don't bring any chaos in my peace zone.
Do not bring chaos and knock on
Because
my door.
Archangel Jophiel will just escort you to the door.
Don't bring that. I
She actually is depicted in some ancient texts as having a flaming sword of light. And I'm just like, so don't bring it into my peace zone, because Archangel Jophiel will bring out her lightsaber, and escort you out, and don't bring it to me.
And that really brings up a whole other thought, because it's like there are multiple versions of the archangel.
Absolutely.
And and in the other one, the other primary one, Jophiel is male, but then they all are, because religion likes their archangels male.
Yes.
So, but Jophiel's a warrior. Jophiel
Yes,
is a
absolutely.
warrior. And,
Hmm.
and it's like when you say it the way you just said it, because I've always like struggled with that.
Hmm.
You say it the way you just said it, it allows me to go a warrior against unjoy.
Yeah.
A warrior against out the aspects of our lives that take us away from peace.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. A
It's okay.
warrior against excessive worry, that monkey chatter in your mind where you just can't turn it off, or, where you're kind of beating yourself up with your self-talk. She's a warrior and says, no, we're moving that out of there. We're elevating you. You don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. It's like it's the first time that I've been able to like relate to that,
Hmm.
because I've really never been able to relate to it. I've always read that other version and said, I don't get it at all.
Hmm.
And yet
Hmm.
it's like, it doesn't matter. I think that the great grand dame of the other version is Diana Cooper, who I adore. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that she and I absolutely agree on is it doesn't matter which version you're
Right.
drawn to, you're drawn to the right version, and it's the right version
Hmm.
for you,
Right.
and both work equally. And but yeah, I think for people who are in the the channel of learning that you and I have been in, it's like
Right.
some of us look at that version and go, I don't get it. And
Hmm.
some of those versions will relate. Michael,
Right.
they relate. And other versions,
Hmm.
like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
Um, but
She's the drama bouncer. She's like a
oh God,
gatekeeper,
I love that. I love that, the drama bounce.
at a nightclub where they have a bouncer that doesn't let anybody in that's bringing the chaos. That's what she is. That's the warrior side of her, is keeping out the chaos, the drama, the things that bring us down, that take us out of joy, take us out of our peace of mind, take us out of self-love.
And I think too that one of the things that's really important is to also take that to an extreme, from
Hmm.
which Jophiel is great at, and that is people who are dealing with depression,
Right.
or dealing with any kind of emotional, um, deep, deep trauma with a small t, or trauma with a capital T. In fact, this week's energetic weather report even addressed that and talked about someone that's like having a challenge with those kinds of
Yes.
emotions. But Jophiel is as an archangel antidepressant. I mean,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So she has this ability to help us to like work our way up. It's not a magic pill. It's not
No.
like, take me from A to Z overnight. But in some ways, she is an emotional therapist on the archangel
Hmm.
realm that helps us to be able to find our way out of the depths, if and slowly work our way back
Right.
up the steps to the place of balance.
Hmm.
You
It's
know,
like her shining a light to, so you can take the steps, will illuminate the steps that you need to take to move out of that. And I always ask her, I want the kinder, gentler version, because that's the other side of her, is the kinder, gentler version, as opposed to the warrior. And so why should we have pain and struggle? Why?
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
we don't need that.
especially,
That isn't what the universe is about. And I just always say, elevate my thoughts and let's do it in the kinder, gentler version.
kind of gentler version. I like that. I just think that, what you said also gave me this whole visual of, if you go to like a play,
Hmm.
I've never been to the opera, but I presume, okay. And it's like,
I've never been to the opera either.
okay, but I have been to a play and I have
Mhm.
been to musicals where, and this like you hand your tickets to this person and they've got a flashlight and they're like saying, watch your
Absolutely.
step as you go up the
Right.
steps, helping you to find your seat. And we can look at that as, well, I see that your seat is joy number 44. So let's go to
Yes.
aisle J. You watch your step as we go out of that aisle A, where we started of anxiety and
Hmm.
anguish. We're going to go up to the aisle J
Hmm.
and find our place, and help us to get to where we want to go in our life.
Right. Which brings me to
Yes.
manifestation, because
Oh, yes.
joy to me is the most important energy when you're manifesting your dreams.
Agreed.
You have to be in a place of joy and you have to be fully immersed in that energy. And Archangel Jophiel is like just the best manifester that there is. So if you are really working on your dreams, your life purpose, moving forward, Archangel Jophiel will be there, like cheering you on and helping you stay in that place of joyful manifestation, because that's where it's at.
And I agree, because I think that if you are in a place of joy, what are you going to manifest?
More joy.
And if you're in a place of anxiety, unhappiness, and those kinds of things, it's
More the same.
it is. But it's like I have to like back that up a little bit and say it's not always easy for people to be in a place of joy when that's
That's
what
true.
they are experiencing, when that's not what they perceive that they are
True.
experiencing. And so that's why I like to tell people that you have to like find your own kind of representation of joy.
Hmm.
And so that might be something like, for me, it's like, I'm a big Christmas fan. I'm a big Disney fan. It's like I ordered a pen. I never worked at Disney, sadly, but I ordered myself a pen that says, and they always say like the person's name, their first name, and
Right.
underneath it says their city of origin. So
Hmm.
I ordered myself one on Etsy and it says Radley, Knoxville, Tennessee. And,
Hmm.
and so it's like, I can put that on when I'm having a bad day. And so that's like
Right.
the thing of like, that's my touchstone. Or I love Christmas and I particularly love C9 lights. Those are the big lights.
Hmm.
For younger and they were always red, blue, green, white, orange in that order. That's important.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so I have a red one and it's like, I just like go pull it out of my desk and go, okay, I'm going to put this in my pocket today. And it's like the things that help us to lift up, or sitting back in your chair and going, what is a super happy, joyful memory for me?
Hmm.
Before you try to manifest, before you try to dig yourself out of a hole of anxiety, it's like, what is a super happy memory for me? What makes me happy? Is it a song? Is it a memory? Is it a poem, a book, or whatever? And find your way into, okay, that makes me happy. I'm going to find that emotion. I'm going to find it and I'm going to lock onto that emotion. And now I'm going to try to manifest what I feel like I don't have.
Hmm. And ask Archangel Jophiel to be there with you, to give it that extra angelic boost, because I know our guardian angels work with us but she's like right there and says, okay, yeah, I will be there and give you that extra little shove, boost, gentle boost that you need, nudge that you need to get moving forward. And to manifest that, because sometimes we have big dreams, but we have to start taking the action steps to do it. And she's going to shine that light on the path to take those action steps to move forward with that dream, because the more you achieve that, the more happiness you have, the more joy you have. And I just love her.
So here's another question. So, and this is me veering off, sort of circling back to people who are new to this, people who want to have this experience and don't know how. And, you know, we talked about that archangels do not particularly have, they technically do not have a physical representation, but
Right.
I call it presenting. So they present to us a certain way. And so how before Jophiel evolved into just pink light, did Jophiel have a physical vision for you?
Well, I mean, I think we all grow up with these pictures, or photos or artwork, you know, even Renaissance artwork where they portray angels and everything. So we kind of grow up in our mind with a visual aspect of what an angel should look like, you know. And so for her, she just looked like this beautiful woman in this radiant fuchsia robe with glowing golden wings, and her hair was, I won't say blonde, it was almost like it was a glowing light. And I know there are some people that see her as a bright yellow, and there's no right or wrong. It's just, you know, whatever you see, you know, that's the way it is.
One and
Yeah.
right?
But to me, she came with this beautiful radiant, and it was, if you could imagine the most beautiful silk velvet that you could imagine, and then interwoven with golden threads. And so I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, getting angel brushes, and just the beauty of it. And it's like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen anything that beautiful before.
You know, and so this is just to help people to know that there is no right or wrong way. So
right, absolutely.
Right. I'm coming up on card deck number 10, Joni.
Oh, wow.
Right. Since 2012, 10 decks. So
wow, that's amazing.
It is amazing. That's why my publisher loves me, I think.
I am so proud of you because I knew you win. You know?
Thank you. So in each deck, there is a representation of an archangel that always winds up being my favorite. So for me, my favorite representation of Jophiel comes from Archangel Power Tarot cards. It's a star card. And so for me, and I don't.
Oh my God, I just got chill bumps because that is very, very close to how I first saw her.
So if you are on Mind, Body, Spirit, you can't see, but you can hear. And so we have this beautiful, beautiful angel. For me, she's got light brown hair, and it is like just below shoulder length. And she is wearing fuchsia pink with a pale pink sash. And I love that pale pink sash because to me, it's a nod to the other pink angel.
Right.
Archangel Ariel, pale pink. And I like to think of them as sisters, you know, sisters. And so here she is, and she's in this beautiful, like, gown that to me is less velvet and more, what do you call that, taffeta? I'm bad like that. I mean, but
like Dupioni silk that has a little, you know, sheen to it. Yes.
That's it. What she said. Go with what she said. Do not go with what I said. Okay. It's like this flowing gown, and it's like this energy, and even her wings for me, they're white, but there's a little bit of that like pink and just starting almost as if it's a reflection off of breasts, or a reflection therefore off her energy. And she's got this pink halo.
Yeah, I was gonna say the glow off of her hair. Yes.
Right.
Beautiful.
And so to me, this is Jophiel. And yet in Jophiel, in one of my decks, I made Jophiel a person of color. She's this beautiful, very young person with black skin and wearing a pink dress that's covered with roses. And so we have to be open to the experience that it presents itself, because the angels are going to present themselves to us in a way in which is unique to us, and the way in which we can embrace them.
Right. Something that resonates with you that you relate to. And I think that's exactly a great description of it.
Right. It's like I have a deck coming out. My deck after the next one I have coming out has a beautiful Jophiel in it. Now that's Angels and Auras Oracle card deck
Uh-huh.
with Dougal Fraser. That comes out in October. And then the next October, I have one coming out in April, but then another one coming out in October after that. And for that one, I made the angels all be etheric. So it's like
Oh,
it's like,
that's
you know,
nice.
it's a little bit like what you're talking about with the way
Uh-huh.
you're saying here now, is like this whole element of, I'm not going to present upon you what an angel looks like to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to show you this fuchsia color, this very ethereal kind of image with some symbolism buried into the image of, like, okay, for Jophiel, it's a giant rose that's
Yeah.
embedded inside the image, so that people can, like, basically feel this openness to what it is that's going to be presenting
Mm-hmm.
to them.
Oh, I love that idea. Absolutely. That's going to be gorgeous. I can't wait.
I can't wait to, because it's a departure for me. It's me doing something different. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it. So any last thoughts about Jophiel that you want to share?
Well, I think if people want something tangible or something that they can actually put their hands on to connect with her, uh, rose quartz,
Yes, rose quartz, absolutely.
um, rhodochrosite is a beautiful pink crystal that it the energetic energy of rhodochrosite is very close to the energy of Archangel Jophiel, because it's about self-healing and having compassion for yourself and elevating your mood and your energy. So that's really interesting. I just found something out not too long ago, copper, because if you think of copper
Huh.
mixed with gold, it creates rose gold.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so uh, sometimes in the descriptions of Jophiel, they talk about her yellow light kind of tinging to the kind of coppery orange color. I don't exactly see her that way, but maybe something with copper or rose gold would a rose gold ring or rose gold necklace or something would help you connect so that you have something actual physical and tangible that you can hold on to, and or even a pendulum or something that's made of that. I mean, they have pendulums now with every kind of crystal. So a pendulum with rose quartz on it. And, just with you're holding the intention that you will be connecting with Archangel Jophiel with it through this object. And then after you kind of exercise that psychic muscle a little bit, you don't actually need the vehicle to get you there. You can get there on your own.
I'm first of all, I love that. I never heard that before, but I love it because my wedding bands are rose gold.
Oh, wow.
I love that. So now I'm going to see them in a different light. But the
Mhm.
other thing, I was just going to ask you this. This is just something that recently came up and I can't find any documentation to it. So maybe it's just like not right. But are you familiar with rubellite?
I have seen it. I know what it is.
Yeah, I just almost wonder about that as a Jophiel stone as well, because it's quite fuchsia.
Yes, and also have you ever heard of ruby and fuchsite? It's like the natural occurring ruby occurs in the kind of the green stone.
Mm.
And I always think about the two of those together as her connection with Metatron, that his
Oh,
violet
that makes
green.
sense.
And so
Yes.
this ruby and fuchsite kind of reminds me of that connection of the two archangels. So I think anything that's related to the minerals that create rubies or ruby adjacent should all be connected, to Archangel Jophiel.
Cool. That makes sense to me. Well, Joni, thank you so much for being a part of the Angel Tarot Show. It was wonderful to get to have you here.
It was great being here.
Tell people what you've got going on if you want to, or where they can find you.
Okay, well, I have a new website that's coming out. It's jonilight.com. And I do personal readings for people. I also am a psychic medium. And to contact me, it would be hello@jonilight.com.
Spell it for me.
I have a Facebook page called Light on the Path with Joni Light, because that's what my path is to shine a light for other seekers, to take the fear out of it so you can find your spiritual path with joy and love.
Okay. So just so there's no confusion, spell Joni Light for them.
Okay, it's JOANIELIGHT.com. Joni Light is all one word, like you just string my name all together as one word.
Okay, well, thank you, Joni. So thanks, guys out there. Thank you, YouTubers. Thank you, those who are listening on mindbodyspirit.com. So great to have had you here for this week's Angel Tarot Show. Next week, we are talking about Sandalphon with the fabulous, I like to call her the Queen of Prayer, Heather Hildebrand. So check
I love Heather.
Oh yeah, Heather is amazing. Also check out, I have a springtime sale going on right now. You can find it at radleyvalentine.com/springtime. In it, I talk about, in particular, a course for my beloved Angel Wisdom Tarot cards that where I talk about each individual card and give you a complete lesson on that deck and all of the intense symbolism that is there. There are some other things in that sale, including something that might surprise you. So check it out at radleyvalentine.com/springtime. That's it for the Angel Tarot Show. I will see you guys, or talk to you guys, next week.
Bye.